Okay, so if you haven't seen my video talking about Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC and why it's so one-sided on Twitter, by the way, you should follow me there at Mr. Cole Thompson. Basically, it's mentioning how it feels like Texas is getting all the glamour, all the glitz from the national media. Everyone is just pegging Texas to march on into the SEC and immediately demand excellence. And you know what? I completely understand that. I get the reasoning why you would imagine the Longhorns, fresh off of going to the college football playoff, would get that garneration at the national stage. But here's the thing. We've been here before. A lot of people don't remember this, but back in 2012, two other teams joined the SEC, in Texas A&M and Missouri. And a lot of people were excited about Texas A&M joining it because the Lone Star State is being represented. Oh, and I guess we'll throw in the Show Me State and they'll do something along the way. Well, does anybody remember what has happened over the last dozen years since these two programs joined? At the grand stage of it all, Missouri has been the more consistent team. And maybe that could be the case for Oklahoma starting in 2025. So let's go ahead and discuss what's going on, SEC Unfiltered. It's Cole Thompson here. Make sure that you like the video, hit the ring notification. That way you don't miss a single episode because we're talking college sports every single day leading up to week one. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Make sure that you follow us on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at SEC Unfiltered. And to keep up with the number one content surrounding your favorite team, make sure that you visit SECUnfiltered.com. This episode is brought to you by RHOBACK. Use promo code SECU for 20% off all joggers, polos, hoodies, shorts, much more. Promo code SECU at RHOBACK.com. So let's go back to 2012 for a moment. Texas A&M and Missouri were joining the conference. They were saying, see you later to the Big 12. Everyone else had started to depart. You watch Colorado go to the Pac-12. You watch Nebraska go ahead and hightail it over to the Big 10. And so then there was the conversation of these two squads joining forces with, at the time, a 12-team SEC. And a lot of people were talking about Texas A&M. The rivalry with Texas being going away. Now you're bringing in the Lone Star State. That means that there's going to be a lot more kids paying attention to recruiting in that area. At the same time, it's going to be a welcoming mat for a lot of other teams to start poaching talent from there because the SEC, it means more. And Missouri's just kind of sitting up here floating by going, hello, we exist. What's going on? Hi, nice to see you. Oh, we're here too? Yeah, cool. I mean, literally, you see people still make fun of Missouri in videos that are comedy skits because they don't believe that they're actually a part of the conference. Like Darth Mizzou this past year became a fixture and everyone was saying, you're not a part of this squad. Well, what was so interesting is that Texas A&M had a quarterback by the name of Johnny Manziel that decided to rain fire on everybody he faced, win a Heisman Trophy, defeat Nick Saban in his own backyard, and then get to an 11-win season. And Missouri, just kind of there. Oh yeah, we exist. You know, we're a team. Everything is, I guess, going to work out for us. We have no idea what we're doing. But did anybody pay attention to what happened after that moment? So Texas A&M is still trying to get back to double-digit wins. They haven't had more than 9 wins in a regular season since 2012. Meanwhile, Missouri, they went 12-2. Then they went 11-3. And then last year, they get to 11-2 with a win over Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. So Missouri has gotten 3 double-digit win seasons in the SEC. And Texas A&M has 1. Now, A&M did get close to going to the college football playoff during the COVID year. They were pretty much a game away, 9-1 finish. A lot of people were upset that Ohio State got in over them. That's not the point. The point is, when you look at consistency, even though Missouri hasn't been able to recruit at the exact same level as Texas A&M, they haven't portaled in as many superstar talents as the way that A&M has, and they haven't had as high profile of coaches the way that Texas A&M has. They still have been the one that is more talked about. Going into this season, Eli Drinkowitz has a roster hell-bent on making it to the college football playoff. We're talking about Missouri having the number 1 wide receiver in the country, if not the wide receiver in all of the SEC. Great complimentary piece, a solid offensive line, a much more stable defense, and it feels like that Faurot Field is going to be rocking and rolling this upcoming season. Kind of sound a little bit familiar to the other two schools that we're talking about right now. Texas getting all the garneration, all the high-profile praise. Everyone is praising Sark for being the guy. And here's Oklahoma, where they have like little jokes about like the Joe Dirt level fireworks stands that's going on in Norman for their celebration. But One season doesn't define how you're going to be. That's the whole part about college football, freaks. They immediately think that they know the entire story and how things are going to pan out before they've even looked into the hourglass of destiny and see what actually unfolds. Oklahoma very well could establish itself as a dominant force in the SEC. Maybe not the same level as Texas year one, but give it 2 or 3 years, allow a guy like Brent Venables to run rampant, build his foundation, continue to show that Oklahoma is belonging in the same conference, and sooner or later, they're going to have the same numbers. You look at Texas and Oklahoma, they match up extremely well when it comes to the recruiting trail and the transfer portal. And now both of them are getting that logo that says it just means more, which means more NIL funds. And they both have collectives that are willing to spend like no one's business. Don't believe me? Dominic Williams would like a word. So would Deion Burks. And then if you go down to Austin, so would Trey Moore and Andrew Makuba. Need I to continue to explain? Okay, well, let's go that way. Texas right now is the hot hand because of what they have returning, and they're fresh off of being in the college football playoff. Well, Texas A&M was fresh off of having a Heisman Trophy winner in 2013, and they felt like that this was going to be the year where it all culminated, and they were able to go toe-to-toe with Bama in their own backyard. That didn't happen. Johnny Manziel never had the same type of success. Mike Evans was a stud, and eventually A&M put up decent numbers, but it was Missouri and Gary Pinkel that were showing themselves down to Atlanta for the first time in year 2. I'm not saying that Texas can't hold their own this upcoming season, but it's about the continued growth. Oklahoma, 14 Big 12 championships compared to Texas, 4 Big 12 championships. Oklahoma, 7 of the last 10 Red Rivers have gone to them in favor of the Horns. They also have been recruiting at a high-end level, and they've also been portaling at a high-end level. So because of now it's a new conference, don't think for 1 second that Oklahoma can't do the same thing. And in fact, this year they may be able to get the same type of win that Texas A&M got back in 2012, and it comes against the opponent that right now everybody is saying is going to the CFP and probably going to win the division in year 1. I'm just saying. You look at Oklahoma and its foundation in place. You look at what Joe Castiglione has been able to build. You look at what you have with Jackson Arnold going into another year, 2025. You look at the way they're going to be able to portal. You look at the foundation that has been built in the trust of Brent Venables. You look at what he's been able to add in terms of coaching staff. You look at what you've been able to develop with offensive line. You know you're going to get the right players in the building. You know that you're going to get players to buy into the Sooner State because of its Oklahoma freaking Homa. You know what Gaylord is like on a Saturday. So just because you're not getting a lot of attention right now does not mean you won't get a lot of attention 2025, 2026. And then we look back a decade plus and say, well, yeah, Texas got a lot of love in year 1. And you know what? It's okay they got a lot of love in year 1. They were a play away from going to the national championship. But at the same time, you could also say to yourself, well, Oklahoma has been to the same amount of college football playoff appearances as them, the same amount of SEC championships as them, the same amount of first-round picks as them, the same amount of Heisman Trophy winners as them, the same amount of top 10 wins as them. They're just as good as a program. Just like in the race between the tortoise and the hare. Sometimes it's okay to be slow and steady if you come out on top. And for Oklahoma, they may not get the love and appreciation that they want right now at the national level. You may hear Paul Feinbaum talking his ass out when it comes to everything Texas, Texas, Texas. Every radio show, every podcast talking about what the Horns are going to do in the SEC. But about a year from now, we may be looking at this picture a little bit differently. 5 years from now, it could be completely off its axis. And 10 years from now, it could actually be Oklahoma just laughing at the Longhorns saying, you know what? You may have had us year 1, but congratulations. We're the one running the show at this point. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about the negativity or the lack of coverage surrounding Oklahoma joining the SEC? Like 2 teams signed up to be a part of this conference, right? Make sure that you follow us on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at SEC Unfiltered. You want to follow me? Go ahead and yell at me. Go ahead and like my content. Like, follow, and subscribe at Mr. Cole Thompson on YouTube and Twitter. Make sure that also you're following us on every platform. Make sure that you download the podcast version of the show. Leave a 5-star review if you like this type of content. Leave a 1-star review if you hate this type of content. And to keep up with the #1 content surrounding your favorite conference, make sure you visit SECUnfiltered.com. I'm Cole Thompson. Until next time, folks. Later.